Well, well. I accidentally started it 15 minutes early. That was weird. Okay. Well. I accidentally started it 15 minutes early. That was weird. And there's my sound check. I was trying to start it up to let it sit, and it didn't give me no option for just to let it sit there for a while. And but I guess that's okay. I can see I got an immediate trolling in. Travis says, Joey, yeah, I know. I wish Joey would just forgive me, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen. Or it may be IPG, or it may be something else. I don't know. I don't really care anymore. Once you stop caring about things like that, it doesn't bother me anymore. I just wish he would quit being so spurgy and just let it go. Just let it go. I'm letting it go, and we can do those things. So I hope my sound's okay. Hello, Ken. Hello, Trim. Hello, Mgtow Values, and hello, everybody. So I guess today we're going to breach the subject of mentoring and benefactors. I was talking to MA about this yesterday, and he has a child and I have children and everything. But what happens with a MGTOW, for sure, one thing for sure and two for certain, is you're going to run into this problem if you stay single all your life and you stay child free, where you're going to collect wealth, you're going to collect things, you're going to collect this, and unless you spend all this and burn everything in this scorched earth policies, then you're going to have to think about a benefactor. You're going to think about taking in a young man or taking in a young person to become what you've become in life, to help assist a young man along. And I think that's altruistic, and I think all men do this. I do this. I think a lot of men in this world do this, and a lot of single men think about these things. And I think it's who will be my benefactor, who will be my protege, who will be the person that carries on my legacy after I'm done. If I don't have children, then I have to choose someone I think is worthy. And sometimes, even though you do have children, is that the best person to become you? Is that the best person to trust with your legacy in life? Some of us won't have much of a legacy. I probably won't have much of a legacy unless there's a Traversable Mgtow 2. And yeah, guys, hit that up vote and take care of those nasty down votes that I get. I get 9 every time from England, and that's how. I don't think it's Joey, because it comes from England, and it comes from a. I could show you if you want, but hit that up vote, and I appreciate that. And I want, I have my deepest appreciation for you guys out there, and it overwhelms me sometimes when I come around here and I see the deep reverence and appreciation for Mgtow. And I think we all should have the deep reverence and appreciation for Mgtow. But today we're going to talk about benefactors and stuff like that. And maybe I'll try to bring someone. Yeah, I got to do something real quick right here. I just got a notice, and I'm going to take care of that real quick and see if that, and we'll see. And so we were talking about benefactors and male benefactors and what you have to do and things like that. And as a single male, your life is different. Your life is different than everybody else's life. Everybody else in this blue pill world, they pretty much they run their way according to. I'm trying to talk and do something right now that I probably should have did last night, and yeah, let me do that. And there we go. Okay. Yeah, I had to do something. I'm trying to do 3 things at once here and talk and give you guys an idea of what I'm going to talk about and take care of a few things that are popping up as I do this. I was supposed to do this before, but I didn't take care of it. And it's just a lingering problem now. I have to talk to misanthropic zombie about it, and it'll be okay. But yeah, let's talk about mentoring and the mentoring program, how to start. And I think Mgtow has to think of itself as a mentoring program, as a program where we somehow men, it's sort of like a lean in program for men. When we think about what lean in is, and we think about what hypergamy is, and we think about what metoo is and everything, we think about, we don't put it in correct terms. We think we don't look at it in them kind of terms. We look at it as it's something that's unpalatable to us and everything. But what it is it's a program of benefactory that assists women, and by proxy, the male in the society becomes the benefactor of these things. The female in the society becomes the benefactor of male wealth. The state becomes the benefactor of single male wealth. After the male dies, he has no offspring, he has nothing, he's not attached to anything. The state becomes that benefactor. And the state knows this. I mean, we see this all the time. The state knows this. They make plans for this. They grab, they take. What they're really doing is breaking one of the 10th commandments. Don't covet your neighbor's property. The state covets. The state is the biggest evil that there is in this thing. And they're telling you, look over here, and we'll do lean in, we'll do this, we'll make the female the benefactor so they don't have to pay their bills and everything. And they get to give themselves raises and drive around in Mercedes Benz, and local authorities get to drive around in Mercedes Benz, Hitler limousines, where they're just abusing the wealth of our nation, and they're abusing the wealth of men, and they're abusing the wealth of in their taxations. And I see this with house taxes. I see this. There's no reason why a person that has their house paid off and the house has no value to nobody else except for them should have to pay taxes on their property. It's like taxing the toilet seat. It's like taxing the doorknob. Oh, you use that doorknob. We can tax that now. We're going to tax your driveway if you walk. If you walk, they're going to tax your shoes. If you drive a bike, they're going to tax your bike. If this is unnecessary, and it's just a system of overtaxation, and I believe that 100%. And I believe that Americans have to take care of this at a certain point. I don't know how Americans take care of this when it's the government. And but like Barbarossa says, men are the only MGTOWs and men are the only gender that can change a nation, and that could fix a corrupt nation. So it's up to us men. Women aren't going to do that because they are the benefactor of all the wealth. They are the benefactors of all your hard work, whether you like it or not. And at the end of this process, when you perish or die in a war or die an early death, or they will benefit from your death. And it's always an extreme. It's an extreme. It's an extreme extraction of wealth from the males in society, and it costs our society so much. We talk about the economics of everything, and I can attribute every problem in economics today to the extraction of male wealth, the utility male. You take every situation, and even in divorce, we have people that have large companies. I often give the example of my buddy that he owned a company, employed 300 people. He got a divorce. He grabbed a bottle of whiskey, he sat in his office. The whole community was in outrage because he employed so many people that in that community, they wanted to take hold of that divorce and make sure that the city didn't lose the jobs and the tax revenue that was coming from that corporation. No, he said no. He grabbed a bottle of whiskey, locked himself in his office every day, and for about half a year, maybe more, 8 months or so, and the company went, and then they cannibalized it. And he said, that's the cost. He says, because everything in here is a product of what I know, what I do. It's none of yours. And he made sure. So that's like sort of scorched earth policies. We, as MGTOWs, we have these scorched earth policies. What am I going to do with this after if I'm a Mgtow and I don't have no benefactor, and if I don't have no children, and I don't do these things that blue pill people do, the state will become the benefactor of all this, and that's what I don't want. So Mgtow, I mean, cut it in half, burn it, give it away, gamble it away, all those things. Scorched earth policy. I'm gonna have fun now, woo! But that's not real practical for a Mgtow monk or a Mgtow person that has some dignity and some honor. We like to think that we're men above reproach, and we like to think that we're men that we're gonna take care of these things, and we're better than most people. And I know what that bothers people. Nobody likes somebody that's better than them. Nobody likes somebody that's chase. Nobody likes somebody that has a higher intelligence. Nobody likes somebody that's athletically bigger, better, stronger, and more intelligent. Nobody likes the alpha. I'm telling you, the betas hate the alpha, and that's it. But when you become this Mgtow monk, you become this moralistic alpha. And it's sort of like the guy, Bill Gates. You're a moralistic alpha. You're the guy doing this. You're not really a real alpha, but in a sense, you're a moralistic alpha. And nobody likes that. Everybody hates to think that, and this is the equality thing. Everybody wants to believe that everybody's just as good as everybody else. And we're all special children, and we all can do, we can all dunk the basketball. We can all run 50 miles an hour. And no, that's not true. We know that. That's what the argument on quality is lately. We know that's just not true. So, with Mgtows, we separate, we divide ourselves from this system. We walk away from this system. We say, no, I can't do this no more with you people. There's just too much wealth extraction. There's too much utility that I have to pay. It's too hard on my body. If I would have became Mgtow, I swear to God, by this point in my life, I probably would have died of a heart attack and been one of those. I can't remember what the Japanese, the guy that works himself to death for nothing. And some kind of honor code, and works himself to death on that. And that's a pretty cruel thing to do to somebody. And it's a cruel thing to do to them. It's no way to live. I equate this with my dog sometimes. Freedom for men, and the ability to experience benefit and experience and just have some happiness to what they've achieved in life seems to be evading. It's this long period of next things. Next time I'll be happy. Next time I'll take some work off. Next time I'll do this. And then I look at my Dougie. I always look at Dougie when I want an answer. What would a dog do? And when I feed Dougie, I feed him dog food and everything. But twice a week, I give him a spaghetti dinner with me. Me and him sit down, and I give him a spaghetti dinner and some chicken and whatever we're eating that day. And my son goes nuts. And then he goes out. He says, "That's a dog. Why do you treat a dog like a human?" And I says, because it's the ideology of it. I says, imagine going through your life, your whole life, each and every one of you go through your whole life with never eating a spaghetti dinner or a piece of pizza or a piece of chicken, and never knowing the joy of that, never going out to a bar and having a Pilsner or a porter with a burger. Imagine never having a hamburger in your life. You can go through your whole life and never have a hamburger. That would suck, wouldn't it? That would really suck. But we have men going through their whole lives never enjoying a moment of solitude, always working, always the utility extracting, and then they die, and then the state becomes the benefactor of their wealth and their utility. It's like a life that was useless. It's a useless life. You get one life here. You get one life, men. And most of these men and most of these most men in Mgtow realize that at a certain point, that I only get one life. And if I'm working for someone else and I'm listening to the government, and a female has become the benefactor of all my wealth, and that's what I'm working for, and I'm working for the split V, and that you could put that in one hand and put a dollar bill in the other hand and weigh it up, and the dollar bill will weigh more every single time. the split via is just a void of space. That's like their brains too. But living as a Mgtow and never knowing the joy of life, going to the park, having a day off, never enjoying, never planning a vacation. And I see my father go through this. His whole total life was dedicated to the traditional family system. And he had very little time in his life. And at the end of it, it seemed to take all of his time. Even when he had retired, he was very sickly. He had mesothelioma from the company. He even went back to the company to work part-time, and they paid him like some exorbitant amount of money to come back to fix these machines, to do this and bring this line back that they wanted. And he never really got to enjoy the short period of retirement that he had. And I think he died like a year later, and it was just tragic. It was a tragic life. Never going. I remember asking, "You want to go out fishing, Dad? You want to go out fishing?" And he's like, "Nah, I got no time for fishing." And I says, "You love fishing. We'll drive up to Kelly's Island in Sandusky, Ohio, and we'll go do some white bass fishing." He loves white bass fishing. And he's like, "Nah, I just can't do it." And, them are some of the moments in life that you're giving away. You're giving away all those moments and all those memories and everything to the system that's predatory on the male. It's more predatory capitalism. It's more predatory benefactor. It's forced benefactory to everybody else in the world, and you become the slave. And that's what Mgtows do not want. Mgtows have such an aversion to this that we created Mgtow. I mean, isn't that just horrible that we had to create Mgtow so we can at least try to minimalize, enjoy your life for a few minutes during your life. And I'm one of those people. I'm one of these people in life. I'm doing something. I'm trying to multitask right now again, and multitasking is hard for me. I'm doing three things. I'm reading, I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to somebody else on another page at the same time. Yeah, multitasking is hard for men. Let me type this out. You see my one finger typing? Yeah. My one finger typing sounds terrible, doesn't it? But when we think about these things and we think about mentorship, and we should start thinking about mentorship early in your life. What do you do? How are you going to navigate this thing in your age? And how are you going to if circumstances have it where most of us will, hey, it's just the truth. The mortality rate's like 4.7%, and for men, most of us are just not going to make it because we're going to work ourselves to death and stuff like that. Think about our mentorship. Think about who's going to be your benefactor. And think about hypergamy, and think about why we're being forced into this position to lean in, become female. It's male on female benefactor all the time. And what we're really talking about is the psychology of gratitude here, and the psychology it's a forced gratitude and things like that. And I wanted to read this. It's a little article that I read a few months ago, and it had a stunning effect on the way I think about this. It says, regarding to the effects of the sex roles and responses to a favor, the benefactor, what you're doing is favoring male participants helped by women, showed more confusion. And I started thinking about that. Then female participants helped by men. Now, this is hypergamy. This is lean in. Women helped by other women exhibited more gratitude. This is from a study I was looking about gratitude and about female benefactors. Less disapproval. If a female helped a female, there was more gratitude and less disapproval. And if a male was helped by a female, it was not understood by the female, looking at the impact of the physical attraction and the sex roles between the responses in the of an unattractive female recipient by a male benefactor showed more gratitude. Their attractiveness of the male recipient helped by a female, the attractiveness of attractive male helped by a female, but exhibited least gratitude with confusion. And attractive females recipient helped by males benefactors were least confused. They accepted it. We're talking about hypergamy here on a low sort of instinctual level. Males are confused, but when a male on male recipient of the benefactor, they were less confused. If a male was a recipient, like what's supposed to happen, what's naturally supposed to happen in nature is the boy about 12 years old is given the benefactor, the male benefactor goes out and shows him how to hunt, and the male benefactor shows him how to gather and hunt and cook wealth, build his house. And he teaches the boy how to do that. That's a natural role of society. Now, society in this case, in most cases, the children, the male children, are stuck with the female, which does not exhibit those kind of traditional roles of the male. You know, this period where he's under the guidance and tutorship and then the benefactory process of a male to learn things in life. Now we see the awful results in our society of these they're same-sex benefactories, female to female, opposite-sex benefactories, which males are totally confused. If a female helps you, you look up and you go, well, I really don't need help, and stuff like that. And but there was we get into the idea of PUA because less attractive participants were more confused and more attractive participants were more accepted and stuff like that. And all that stuff. But what it is in today's society is a forced benefactorship. And the question we need to ask ourselves and understand, what is Mgtow's target audience in this? What is Mgtow's audience? And it's males between 17 and 32, basically. And that's when I talk about the divorce rate. When we look at our target audience, all I'm interested in is the divorce rate between these two figures, and that just happens to be 86%. And nobody wants to believe this. What is our target audience? What are we talking about when we talk about Mgtow and the developmental needs of Mgtow and the key motivational things? And we see the enthusiastic salesmen around here and stuff, and that's the key motivational needs of the participants in Mgtow and stuff like that. And we're looking at smart options is what we're really doing in business. What business options be? Smart options and specific, measurable, obtainable, and relevant, bounds and goals, things like that. And I know I look at things very structured sometimes. There's a structuring that I always look at, and when things veer from this structure, they don't make sense to me. And in Mgtow, we don't have no enrollment, but we have a mentoring style. And I think you can call it that, a mentoring style. It's not a traditional mentoring style. Like I say, Mgtow is very progressive, and it sort of bothers me sometimes when people say, when we get traditional people coming into Mgtow pretending like they're Mgtows, and they bring this traditional idea that we're all in this single group of people, and they don't realize that we are progressive. Mgtow is super progressive. We don't like marriage. We don't do this. We don't do that. It's super progressive thinking. And then they reject this progressive thinking so they can have this stoic traditionalism. But so they want both the best worlds. And that seems like milk apple to me. When I look at these things, milk apple, it's just absurdity. You can't have the best of these both. Where you can have the stoic individualism, but we are very progressive, and we're walking away. We're saying we're not going to do this more, no more. and that's it. But when we start looking and breaking down these things, we're going to have connection, durations of time to work with these people before people move on. They get to make how communication skills and social aspects of this things have to be high, or else you're going to lose these young men. And God forbid they go out and get married and ruin their lives, and the state becomes the benefactor of all their wealth, and the woman becomes a benefactor of all their wealth. So mentoring becomes hugely a big problem, and it's one of the things that I don't see a lot of around here in Mgtow. I don't see a lot of mentoring programs. I see a lot of helping hands helping themselves, and the enthusiastic salesmen, and but I don't see a lot of mentoring around Mgtow, and these are the things we're supposed to be doing. These are the attitudes that we're supposed to be living under. These are the gratitude that we're supposed to be giving to Mgtow, and it doesn't never flow down. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, we're out saving men's lives," and to a point. Yeah, it could be true. We are saving some lives from a horrible, devastating effect of divorce and things like that. But it's a bit hyperbolic at a point, and you know, we have to consider, what are the needs of the young men? What are the qualities that they're going to need? And if they reject those things, it's often said in Mgtow, if you know of Mgtow and you still go out there and get married, well, and if you're still dating and putting yourself at risk, if you're still acting an ass at work, and you get called out for. If you get called out like a metoo accusation after you grope some woman, then it's pretty much your fault. Harvey Weinstein wouldn't be in that position if he was a man above reproach. Harvey Weinstein was not a man above reproach. He was a whore dog, and whatever he's getting is just I do believe 100% that whatever he's getting is just his past catching up with him. And if he wasn't that mean, we can look at the perfect example. Pence doesn't, the Pence rule. We all know the Pence rule. And if you live by the Pence rules, you're not going to be a recipient of Me Too unless Me Too goes mainstream and they start to, and we've seen some bits of that and everything, but I think it will be pretty much sputter out. The point is proven. And I think in any Mgtow sort of way, you have to be logical about these things. And we go, okay, point proven. We're just walking away. We're just walking away. Go your own way, Mgtow's. Go your own way. We're walking away. Please leave us alone. We don't want nothing to do with you. Please leave us alone. So when we start looking at all these things, we start looking at what is a good mentor? What do we have to do here? Why do we do these things? Why do we have these policies? Why do we take on these ideologies? And what will be the end result? I often ask the questions: what will be the end result of my life if I go Mgtow for the rest of my life? And should I be ready for that? And right before you die all the time, people, make plans. Well, you should have made plans earlier in your life. What plans do I have? Well, how do I want to leave and exit this thing? How do I want to, what legacy do I want to lay down and stuff like that? And that's tough questions. And that's tough questions for everybody. Your legacy, what legacy do you want to lay down in this thing is, most people won't have no legacy. Hello, Shingles. Go, Trav. It's your birthday. Yeah, it's Trav's birthday. Is it? No, it's not my birthday. Maybe I put down a fake birthday somewhere. Trav, it's your birthday. Yeah. I wish it was my birthday. But yeah, we got a lot of things to think about. And I think one of the things we should be thinking about is the mentoring programs and the programs that benefit males and those things. Yeah, looking at some of the comments now, and it's like, oh yeah. Wow. Yeah, let me get rid of this one. No, I'm not gonna moderate. I said I was not, and I'm not gonna pay attention to that stuff. And yeah, so I'm just not going to moderate anymore. And that's it. So I don't know what you guys think about this. And Mgtow's future is bright, and it'll be filled with joy, happiness, and it's going to be filled with all those things. But we do lack in some qualities, and some of the qualities we're going to lack in is what we leave this planet, how we leave this planet, what impact we have, our legacy on this planet. I mean, no matter the way you think about that, you're going to have some kind of footprint on this planet. And oh, look at yeah, let's do this. Remove. Yeah, I can. There you go, Travis. Travis, are you hurt now? Yeah. Okay. And we should be appreciative of that, and we should, try this whole thing as it works out in society. The lean to, the me too, lean in, the me too, the female benefactors are always the hypergamy. The state becomes, it's either the state. I swear the state must be a female, because they are the benefactors of all wealth extraction from men. And these are some of the things we have to think about as Mgtow, and become active in. I've become active in a lot of programs of that politically outside of here, not really political, but just programs like work for men and stuff like that, and how we overtaxation of our nation and stuff like that, and corporation company rights, union rights, and stuff like that, which is just under fire now. And we look at the Barnes Mountain Wars in West Virginia, how they stole they came in, they overtaxed these people, they stole all their land, and eventually there was a war, and then they forced them off their land. And now we look at like the hilltop, mountaintop mining and everything. They just plowed and they took everything from these people. The correct recipients of that property was always the West Virginian people. They were forced off their lands by corporations, assisted by the state and the military. And when we look at the Barnes Mountain War and stuff like that, we should be ashamed. And it's one of these things that it's one of these things our government did that is such a shameful act of forceful predatory capitalism, that they should hold their head down, and they should start looking for these people for reparations. I think if any reparations are due to any people in this world, it's the West Virginians that were pushed off their land. It's the West Virginians that it was stolen from them by a predatory taxing system, and they were forced off their land by armed military thugs, and they were forced to work in coal mines, and many songs were written about this and that. Travis, you're gonna keep it up until you get banned. There, we'll do that. And yeah, and that's it. So we have a lot of predatory capitalism going on at that period of time and everything. But that was the major thing was aimed at men. It was the whole thing. It wasn't aimed at women. It wasn't aimed at children. It was aimed at the target was men, to extract their wealth, extract their utility, force them to work in these coal mines, take their property. And things are no different today. Our state is still the evil, what I can call just the devil. The state is the devil. They tax you to send other people's children to school. They'll tax you on fixing your water when the water is owned by a private company that should be fixing the pipes, because they're getting the benefits of private. The gas company is owned by the gas, but they'll charge you for that, and they there's kickbacks and everything, and they sit there and say that they're actually governing something, but they're really not. I look around this place, and I can look in a 4 mile square period of my house, and And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 townships. And every seven townships, we have 1, 2, we have 14, 17, 18, 19 city buildings, not including state buildings, and not including the city and state buildings, not including federal buildings. And you're paying for every one of those. And we have one of the lowest populations. We have barely 200,000 people that live in this county here. And we have 16 state organized businesses drawing taxes off of that and employing themselves to that. And we need one. And that tells you how crazy and how out of control the local systems are. And, it's just crazy. We need one building. That's what we need. And we need the lowest. We talk all the time for tax cuts for the wealthy and everything, and tax cuts for this, tax cuts for this. But when have the people of at a local level ever experienced a tax cut? Never. Your taxes are keep steadily going up. I was watching in my state, they were having the people were so outraged about there was program of outrage that was going because the state again rose the price of the houses, and essentially all they did was rose the value of the houses so they could tax them more. And the people were outraged, and they were having these community group meetings. And every community in the state was organizing these grassroots meetings so they can explain to you that it's a good thing. I thought, Jesus, this is what my taxes are going for these grassroots movement to explain to me how a bad thing is a good thing, and basically how I'm going to be paying for your children's college education because in keeping the 14 buildings that we don't need afloat. It's just a ridiculous system. And then I look at a closed down steel mill, and a closed down Ford plant, a closed down GM plant. And then I think, oh, well, this shit starts making sense. It's more company store policies. It's, you guys know what company store policies were. Company store policies when the business, the big steel mill up there built a bunch of houses, and then they built the store, and then they built that, and they loaned all the money. They paid the workers very little, and then they loaned the money to them. And then after they fired them from their job, they took the house that they paid for. They took there was debt occurred and everything. That's company store policy. That's illegal in the United States. There's no more company stores. But you know who's become, after the companies all left and exited America, you know who became the biggest company store? The local government, because they're still taxing you at the rate that they're taxing you. They're taking houses. People are poor. People aren't working enough. They're taxing your food. And one of the things we made an agreement on in Ohio was, and you see this in Florida, they don't pay property taxes because they pay taxes on their food. And we decided that in Ohio that we'll pay property taxes and we won't pay taxes on our food. And just a few years ago, you know what they did? It was sort of a backdoor entry they backdoored us, and they charged the owners a tax on how much food they bought, and then the owners and participate with the government, which I call a prior restraint. And it's a financial prior restraint. And then the owners of all these supermarkets, were huge corporations, put the taxes on the food. So they backdoored it again. Now they're getting double the taxes on that. And these are the things we have to talk about in our government. These are the things we have to talk about with these corrupt systems. Yeah, of course they have 16 additional buildings in a 4-mile area. And of course they're living the high life. And of course they like it. They're like hypergamous little girls that like spending daddy's money. They like spending daddy's money because they got all this extra now because they double taxed you. So I kind of went off a little bit on the subject there because I'm so passionate about that. I'm so passionate about getting rid of local government. Hey, if my street is a dirt tar and ash street, I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't bother me one little bit. But what really bothers me is is the corruption, and I think this boils down basically to the traditional system, and all things go back to the traditional system of divorce we got now, of how the male's treated, about hypergamy and that. Oh, everybody's helping hands, helping themselves. We see that a lot in Mgtow too. The helping hands. I'm here to help you. I'm here to make your life better. And all you got to do is take upon this Mgtow policies and blah, blah, blah. Your life will get better. And I'll show you how to do this, blah, blah, blah. It's the helping hands, helping themselves. And I'm saving lives. And then blah, blah, blah. I'm saving lives. Yeah, the eventual pat on the back that you're saving lives. No, probably you're not. Most of the time, a PUA is killing more men than he's saving. Anybody with a PUA attitude is killing more men than he's saving. So hello, people. Let me just hello everybody that's in today, Trim and Cave and all the guys that are coming around and everything. I see a lot of trolling, and I could expect that today. And because I kind of gave. I wasn't going to moderate this thing anymore. I was just going to leave it an open subjects and expect you guys to take care of take care of that for me in there. And hey, nice upvote count now. You guys are, now that's what I want to see. Every time I go on the air, I'm going to get the nine down votes from the English people, the English guy, one or two. And I get those 9, but you guys, nice upvote count. And I want to just say I appreciate every time you guys watch. I appreciate you guys, and it's great that we can talk about these things, and we have somewhere to go to talk about these things. If it wasn't here, it would be somewhere else, But it's great that YouTube lets us do that. I had to erase the video yesterday. Misanthrope officers informed me that they took it down on Stay and Freeze channel, so I had to put it on private yesterday because I was so fearful they're going to redo another strike against me for some arbitrary thing or something, and that's what my detractors would like. Yeah, keep hitting every time they hit that just hit that like button, guys, and that turns me on, and it tells me yeah, I'm getting under their skin, and that's great. Hello RP, hello Cave Creature, hello everybody that coming in. And this is Sunday morning church. I decided to redo Sunday morning church and as reverence. Yeah, I know it's a reverence. What is an action of returning something to its former owner, conditions in place. It's restoration. I'm restoring the Mgtow church. So with that, go your own way, Mgtow. Go your own way and do it your way. And we're gonna do Mgtow church until probably I pass from this world. And every time I get a chance to do it, we're gonna do it. And yeah, I love that comment. Yeah, I love that. What was that guy's name? Who is it? That's a great comment. The guy, he says Trav is the biggest incel. Yeah, me and my 5 kids, we're all incels. It's idiots. Yeah, if I was an incel, I wouldn't have 5 kids. Yeah. Oh, maybe it's a little projection there. His little thing doesn't work down there, and his little girl thing, and he's been over masticated, and it doesn't work, and he's just projecting that he can't have any that girlfriend experience. Hey, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for that. But I'm sorry for that. But hey, I'm not the bad guy here. You're just they're just mad at the messenger, and I know they're just mad at the messenger. I'm not the bad guy. I'm just the messenger. So I don't know what you guys, what do you guys think of the subject of mentoring and benefactory stuff? And it goes bigger and it goes beyond the idea of just yourself. Traversable, you can always go ask one of the Dolly Dittos for a discount. That's from Cave Creature. Yeah, I don't want a discount. I don't want a discount. I just want them to stop doing that. Stop being that kind of person. And but hey, it's their choice, and I don't care what they do in the bedroom. But and as long as they keep it personal and private to themselves. Trudeau's father has made a really great statement. He says the state's got to get out of the business of being into people's bedrooms. That's where all this horror and this nightmare and this gender dynamics comes in. And what he was saying is we got to get out of marriages. We got to get out of the sexual dynamics of gender dynamics and all that stuff, and keep away from that. But Canada in itself and his son doubled down on stupid. And they went double down on that. Canada went really, really crazy on being in people's bedrooms and asking, asking questions that simply are none of their business. And that's what we see with social justice nowadays. Social justice is basically. I was thinking about that. This analogy. You ever heard the analogy? Your horn is not your doorbell. You ever have someone pull up the house next door, and they use the horn as a doorbell? And they're beeping, and that just doesn't affect that person in that house. And there's some narrow-mindedness in today's people. I think most millennials and most women and most people in this society today have a total disrespect for everybody in their neighborhood. They can't see that. No, you just rang the doorbell on 10 houses around you, but that doesn't matter to you because you don't have to get out of the car and actually walk up and knock on the door. Boy, that's how lazy people are now. I'm gonna make that sign. I'm gonna put it up in front of my house. Your horn is not your doorbell. And give some quote or something from Plato about intrusion into other people's lives and sound intrusion and noise and how you intrude and how the state intrudes. And I mean, the state is just about that. They're the inconsiderate people that ride up to your house and wake everybody up in a neighborhood because they're too lazy to actually get out of the car and knock. Oh, look, Chip Douglas is back with another. Yeah, let's take care of that. Take a bath. Not now. I'm not going to take a bath for you, Chip. I don't. I'm not going to let you watch me take a bath either. You're not my type. There you go. You're not my type, Chip. Who was it that used to do the podcast from the bathtub? I can't remember who that was. That was funny. Yeah, Chip is not my type. I have no. I'm not going to do that in front of the camera for him. What a moron! What a moron these guys are. That's probably the English gang there that hates me. You know who it is, and. But hey, they have the right to voice their opinion, and their opinion of me is low, and or their opinion of me is probably them projecting on their own insecurities because, well, I don't see them out doing podcasts. I don't see them doing nothing for. I see vacant accounts. Vacant accounts always bother me. I see these trolls running around. You go to their account, and there's one subscriber, and it's their other account. They subscribe to themselves. The very act of narcissism is trolling when you have a vacant account. If you're man enough to come out and do this, man, I have the most utmost respect for Mgtows that are man enough to come out and just do this and just say, hey, I'm Mgtow. I don't care what you think. And you can just go away. Pretty much just go away. And because it's not going to influence me, nothing what you think. You're not going to change my mind on mating. You're not going to change my mind on divorce. You're not going to change my mind on anything in your little troll policies and it just does nothing. And we are not traditional. We are very, very anti-traditional in here. So don't bring that alt-right bullshit of traditionality here to me. We're very progressive. We're not doing these things that you require of us so you can extract our utility. If I have to become, I've been flipping it around lately whether I might have to become political to combat these morons that just won't leave it alone with their traditional ideas of this world. We're not going back to the 50s. We're not going back there. You can try that all day long, that beaver cleaver stuff, and think that it wasn't that great back then. It's not great now, and we can't go back. And that traditional attitude and everything, woo, hey, woo to you. Go for that guy. But there's too much water under the bridge, and that ship has sailed. Oh, there he comes on. So it was the first guy, and I blocked him, and now Brokeback Hope, which we know is, which we know who that is, and he gives himself away in his utter stupidity. Yeah. Okay. So the subject today is mentoring and benefactor, male benefactors, and I hope you got something from this while I being constantly trolled by men of low stature and low character. I mean, that's all it is men of low stature and low character are confused about life. I mean, of course, of course, it's all about that. Of course, it's about the trolling. Of course, it's about those things because they have no substance. They have no originality, no substance. These are traditional men. Like I always say, traditionality is synonymous with unoriginality. Go look at it at the definition and look at the synonyms to traditional. It's synonymous with unoriginality. And that's what we can expect out of them. That's how I determine which guys around here are traditional, because they're very unoriginal. I mean, it's that learn the catchphrase coming on here, go, woo, the enthusiastic salesman is very unoriginal. He has this thing scripted. He has right before him because he has no original thought of his own. And he usually will rage out at some point about some traditional topic that he's flip-flopping and turning on its end and trying to get us to believe that traditionality should be instituted in Mgtow because that's his Mgtow, because his Mgtow is Mgtow light, and it's about as close to being a blue pill guy as can be. So yeah, he wants to change Mgtow instead of conforming to Mgtow, and you can go out in the regular world out there and do all those regular world things and just get along fine without coming around here. But they love to come around here. Yeah, Trim, do you have an angry TFLer following you? I have angry TFLers and following me around in cellars, and they're just angry, and they're always angry, and they're angry at me. But like I say, how you can tell a psychopath? It always works out the same way. A psychopathic personality will always turn on the person that tries to help them, and that's what happened here. I'm here, I'm here as myself for the last 4 or 5 years, doing this at great cost sometimes to myself, and what I do on Sunday mornings, and either you can, it's a TV program or it's a program. You can turn it off if you don't like it, but if you're here and you enjoy Traversable Mgtow talking about Mgtow subjects, it's great. But the psychopath it's like. You see it in movies. You see it in real life. That he's hiding in his house. He's a psychopath. He thinks aliens are coming. There's always that fixture of the demon, which I say feminism. Feminism is that fixture of the demon that's a psychopath's need, because it's coming from it's being moderated by the psychopathic narrator in their head. You can look at all this stuff, and it's very scientific and everything. And if you want, go look it up. The psychopathic narrator in their head, as soon as somebody comes in to say, hey man, take your pills, and I'm going to get you some water, we'll put some food in the cabinet, you're depressed, you're hiding in your bedroom, you're peeking out the blinds, you think everybody's psychopathic aliens, and that's just not true about life. And then who do they make into the enemy? Well, they make the enemy the person that's helping out. And we see a lot of violent acts this way. Somebody goes to help somebody that's psychopathic, and the psychopath turns on them and makes them into the enemy. That's how you can tell. That's how you can, in larger life situations, it always works out the same way. I've seen it a million times in my life, but in these micro situations around Mgtow, the guy that's here, they just, share a little knowledge, share a little of his time and his experience with them. They'll make him into the enemy. That's how you can tell that he's a psychopath. And most of these trolls are psychopaths. They make me into the enemy. It's like, how can you? I'm just as jolly and as happy most of the time as can be, and it's just it's ridiculous. But now you got your psychology lesson for today. Traversable Mgtow. It's Traversable Mgtow, Dr. Mgtow, Dr. Traversable psychology class. It's just funny. Hello, Nino. Hello, Planetary Assault. Kimberly Trim. I'm the prettiest here. We got Kimberly Hot in here. And yes, Kimberly, you are the prettiest. Well, you know who the prettiest is? Right here. Like, pretty. I'm just pretty. I know it. Hello, Janet. Hey, Janet, I seen you made the topic of a video this morning that was put out by some young man. And he said, there's this Janet girl that says, so check Mgtow today. You'll see it. I can't remember which one it is. If you want me to send it to you, I'll send it. You were the topic of the video. And I just thought that was so funny. I was like, Janet's the topic of the video. Yeah. When you're, when other people become the topic of your video, you don't have a topic. That's what I always said. It's just complaining about the way the world is, and that's it. But today we're talking about the topic of benefactory, males benefactor, and males being benefactors to males. With the lean in program, you can look at that and you can subdivide what's happening there, and it's male on female benefactorship. That's what they're saying. You got to lean in. You got to help us out. You got to make sure the wage gap, which isn't a wage gap, it goes away. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I was looking at the waitress and waiter wage gap there yesterday. Females generally make $1 on average more. I think it's more like $3 on average more than males, and there's 25% male waiters to 75% females, and you only have to claim, I don't know what it is, whether it's $3.65 or $1.65 an hour, but most waitresses I know in this, even in Cleveland, I know a waitress that I just talked about this, and I went and did an independent survey of waitresses. I asked them how much they make a day, to kind of friends, wink, wink, just tell me how much you actually make. And it was the average was like $200 a day. Now to our country, you can take that and 15% of the national gross. And the government kind of minimalizes that. They go, well, the national gross of profits for, and profit, we're talking about profit for, and this is how they screw the data. This is how they screw it in the favor of the other gender here. They take it $640 billion, but that's the profit. That's not, when you pay your bill, you're paying for the food, you're paying for the plate, you're paying for everything. Everything's involved in that. There's cost involved in that, and it's the total intake. So it's a one-sided ledger. It's a total intake. The national total intake of restaurants and in the United States is hard to. It's not $640 billion. It's more like $7 or $8 trillion. Now you take 15% of that, and that's the revenue. That's 15%, 15 to 20% of that. That's the revenue that 75% of women are making on tips, which are unreported. So they estimated it at 11 billion. I think it's more like $100 billion to $200 billion that never gets into our system. And then you start taking in barmaids, waitresses, strippers, sex workers, all people that get tips or make cash like that. And there's a lot of them. And I thought, like, even the girl at the Subway, I put $5 to get my sandwich, and I put $1 in her thing. That's unreported revenues. to our nation, and it's unreported revenues to the pay gap too. So if you take that that it probably works out to somewhere, if I haven't done the math exactly on it yet, but in my mind I can examine it and go, okay, it probably works out to an extra $2 trillion in taxes a year that don't get included into the thing, into our system, and it doesn't get put on when they do the GLS does the statistics on the pay gap, and then that would bring, if they did do the actual statistics on what the actual employees made, which is probably, well, $200 a day for your average waitress on an 8-hour shift. That you know, depending, we'll just say $1,000 a week, they got it at 450, so it doubles that, and it doubles in a little more, 110% more. Yeah. So we look at that, but they don't include that in there, and they have these crafty ways to manipulate the methodology of those things. So I was looking at that article and I was just laughing at the total insolence of the government that's supposed to provide you. You're paying for a Bureau of Statistics. The total insolence of them to provide you with fake information. And it goes back to like fake, you know, we got fake reporting, we got fake information. The people of the United States are the biggest lied to people in the world by their government. And they can't even get a simple thing like that. The simple mathematics on it doesn't work out to me once if you took every restaurant and every bar and every stripper joint in the United States and you totaled up the revenue on it, and then you put 15% on that, which is their very system, not the profits made. Profits made is not the revenue. The revenue, the plate of food. Let's take the plate of food. There's cost involved in that plate of food. You have to pay for the chicken, you have to pay for the hamburger, you have to pay for the noodles and everything like that. Now the very revenue itself is being neglected, that there was X amount of money, but the waitress herself makes 15% on the total, not 15% on the actual revenues made. And that's so stupid. And then how they did that is they included cooks. Cooks get paid by cooks are not on a tipping system. Nobody tips a cook. Nobody runs back there and hands a $5 bill to a cook and says, hey, thanks for doing it. He's paid on a system where, yes, he makes more than the $365 or whatever, it's $765 or whatever they have to pay him now. I don't know. I haven't worked in the restaurant industry since I was a kid, but yeah, the cook's going to make $13, $14 an hour. And if you got a good cook, you can pay him up to $19, $20 an hour. And a very good chef, if you're going to pay him, you're going to pay him up to like 100 grand a year. Of course, yes, it makes out in the gender dynamics of that. Most chefs I know are male. It's just one of those things. And there's I don't think there's any, I just can't see that there's this discrimination towards female chefs, because I've never noticed that in my life. But yeah, the methodologies they work out to these things are just, so I was sitting there laughing about that article, but we can see the total corruption in our system. That starts with the Bureau, the BOS, and the DOJ, and these corrupt methodologies they use to get these totally, and it goes back to Simpson's paradox. When I talked about Simpson's paradox, you could take something that's so corrupt, like the gender differences between male strippers and female strippers, and male strippers aren't going to make, I hate to say it, they ain't going to make dick. And the female strippers are generally going to make about 10 times the amount of male strippers. And then that's not reported as revenue. And then they're going to say, well, the male strippers they make more. No, that's not true. Male porn stars don't make as much as female porn stars. Waitresses make 10 times as much. Tits get tips. And that's just the truth. And then they reduce the national, the average on that, and they minimalize it, and then they don't want to add that into the actual pace. And there's more. I think there's 2.3 3 million servers, and I think that's probably went up. The last time I did an actual review, there was 4.7 female servers, $4.7 million that are paying $1.65 an hour taxes and not reporting their revenues. And and the problem is, I don't have any problem with them not reporting their revenues or anything. What I have a problem is the BOJ and the DOJ not adding those revenues that they know they're making into the pay gap, and because they can't clerically take care of them. And it just shows the corruption and the stupidity of our government. I was a waiter semi-regularly. He took me and a cook, but only once. Yeah, I was a cook when I was younger. When I got laid off, I was a cook for a while. I got laid off between Mobil Oil and my other job, and I had to cook at a restaurant, and he paid me under the table, and he paid me good and everything. But I've never in my life, during that 9 months I had to do that, I never received a tip. I think once the waitress brought me back and she said, "You did a really good job." And that the guy said, "Give you $2." And I was like, $2. At that point, I bought a pack of cigarettes, and that was great. It was like, wow, that's what it's like to actually get a tip. And I got a tip for the BLS or the BSL that does these kind of flawed methodologies. My tip for them is get it fucking right. We're paying you. Get it right. The Department of Statistics, the DOS and the DOJ, and these people that we depend on to get these things right, so we can take a look sociologically at our society with actual figures and have a good methodology, but they can't even get it right. Jesus. And I'm no mathematician or geographer. I'm no geographer, but I could do math. The average person looks at that and goes, that is so wrong. You guys are idiots. And we're talking about what's supposed to be the smartest people in our government are idiots. And goes back to my original argument about 14 to 16 buildings in a 4-mile square area here, just raising your taxes above a reasonable level when we're just employing a bunch of idiots and they become predatory, and we got thousands of jobs that we should just lay off. We got 16 fixed 16 local buildings, and we need one in this area. And that's my argument. I think my argument holds water. And MH had what he called these people, and then there's a lot of nepotism in that, and it's a family tradition of governing over being a serf over these poor tenants, where we become poor tenants and they become the serfs. And that's why we look at this and we go, oh man, this whole thing has turned into fascism. And that's what the basics of fascism, when you have a local government that acts in a tenant way to the serfs on the land, and all you become is the men become the utilities for use, and then they don't even want to provide the men with decent jobs for the utility. They found a way to do the company store and just take until that runs dry, and that will run dry. There'll be no one left to take from. And in this area, where there was just reports out that the national, as far as the national, like I said, the steel mill left, the Ford factory left, the GM factory left, and all the corporations, Ridge Tool and Moen Fawcett, and I can name hundreds of them left. And for smoother seas, overseas, and this mass exodus hit this area hard. But there used to have something called company store policies back in the day, which they made illegal, but the state has become the company store now. And those 16 buildings that we don't need, they still have the cost, and they still have to run, and they still have mega employees in those, and they'll keep raising your house taxes. They doubled down on the food taxes, and now that was totally wrong, and nobody said nothing to them yet about the back door into breaking the agreement with everybody in Ohio. And but hey, they can get away with that because they're the government. People have to start standing up for those things, and I think that's a duty of every responsible Mgtow to be vocal about things like that, because it does affect your Mgtowness, it does affect your signalness, it does affect the way they look at you and what they're going to take from you, and that all translates into this horrific, corrupt system of one of those systems that you're paying for is the divorce court system, the family system, an unnecessary system where they're in your bedroom watching you for every mistake you make. So when you get into, they're going to be right there to tax your ass. And it all works in a reciprocal way. And yeah, that's why Mgtow, we hate these systems. We should hate these systems. And on a local level too. I could give a shit what the federal level does. I have because they don't know me personally by name, and they'll forget about me. If they met me on the street, they'd forget about me. But these local people, they know you personally by name, and they're not going to forget how much you have in your wallet, because they're just like gold diggers. They want to get some of that out of your wallet so they can continue paying themselves. I often use this analogy too with the HHS buildings. In 1974, they changed all those rules for one reason, because unemployment went under a certain percentage. Poverty went under a certain percentage of 11%. As soon as poverty goes under a certain level of 11%, you have to start laying off federal workers. So what do? Yes, they changed the divorce system. They changed the ERA, changed the divorce system. They changed the system of how we became so stable, where we're all stable now. Poverty started going up. You can look at it at a chart. Poverty started going up, and guess what they do with that? They become the recipients of their own jobs when they should have been laid off. So they made policies that were harmful to men, so they can keep their jobs. And there should be half the amount of workers, a quarter amount of workers. And with today's system of technology, you can put that whole HHS, the Health and Human Service building, in a library on a computer, type in your information, hit the button, and see if you qualify. And you don't need humans, and you don't need, we talk about technical ages of robots and factories, like they did to the Ford workers. They just replaced them with robots and computers. What they actually did, it all runs off a PLC. I fixed these things. It all runs off a computer system. So they changed out, and they got rid of workers. And now we see in McDonald's, you got these kiosks now. You can order, and it takes care of it. They don't have to pay a employee, and it probably costs about half the amount of employee for one kiosk. They probably cost $3,000-$4,000 for that kiosk, and they probably save like upwards to 10 to 15 times on that single kiosk. But automation, now we start thinking about how we can automate our government. And one of the things we can do is we can shut down those Health and Human Service buildings. We can get our asses out of divorce courts and marriage, and get out of people's bedrooms, and put it in the library and automate it. And people can actually go read a book while they're doing there and learn something. And maybe they can read a book about business as they're typing in their income. And then the simple computer will send you a freaking check. And that will cut the costs of Health and Human Services, the $2.7 trillion that we give to that, by by 3/4 because we don't have to pay to employ these people, but they won't automate this. They'll talk all day about automating the Ford factories. They'll talk all day about automating the jobs out of existence. They'll talk about McDonald's and Taco Bell and all those people. They'll talk all day about automating your job. But when it comes down to a government job or a local authority job, they're not going to automate those jobs. They're going to raise your house taxes. They're going to raise your taxes. The state, I have never received in my life a lowering of any tax I've got. It's always more and more and more. And those are paid for by me. Those jobs are paid for by me. When a simple automation of most of these jobs, you can automate the heck out of this. You can even automate the judge system. And I don't have to pay for these things, but no, they won't. And then they'll make the 1974 Act, the Health and Human Service Act, was simply about keeping their jobs. Let's automate. Let's lay these people off. And then they can go out into the, the private sector and beg for jobs just like every one of you have to. They go out into the private sector and then, maybe their attitudes will change a little bit. And I do believe the first thing we have to do is automate local government. And that is a Mgtow interest because, like I said, most of the money is coming from you, the single male. They figured out how to tap you in so many ways. I should have an extra orifice on my back. They figured out how to tap that. Talk about rape. Talk about rape. They're raping me every single day, but no one, everybody I talk to is so disinterested in sitting in front of that boob tube out there and sitting on this thing that they're so disinterested in their local politics. Nobody freaking cares. Man, I can't imagine John Brown not being interested in the slavery that was going on in his neighborhood. And by the way, I used to live right by John Brown's father's house, store, his tannery. And hey, do you know, interesting fact that John Brown's father employed Ulysses S. Grant as a teenager, and Ulysses S. Grant and John Brown knew each other way before the age of John Brown and way before they were teenage kids running around here in Ohio and Portage County. There's a lot of figures that come from that area, presidents and advocates for human rights that come from that area. And I come from that area myself. I'm very, very against local government. I'm very much against male slavery. I think it's the issue in Mgtow that we have to, stop. Men, have a little dignity, protect yourself, and have a little courage too. But I can't tell, 99.9% of the men out there that are just happy with their McDonald's cheeseburgers, and they're sitting in front of the TV with a beer and vegetating for those minimal hours at night before they fall asleep and go do another 10-hour shift. And if that becomes your life, we'll regress back to my father and how sad it was that you never get to be the benefactor of your own wealth. You never get to be the benefactor as a male of happiness. So I went a long way around there, and probably, I don't know how many, an hour and a little over an hour to revert back to how this thing works actually. And I hope you enjoyed my little rant on church, Traversable Church. Hey, go your own way, Mgtow. Go your own way. And I say that for a reason. Don't be a voluntary slave. We have to start getting more verbal about certain things. And I think we are a progressive organization of men that want to change things. And go ahead, call me progressive. That's exactly what I am. I'm progressive. I'm Mgtow. All Mgtows are progressive. They just don't know it, or they're so screwed up with this modern argument they don't realize that they are. And let's start changing things. And that'll come down to a grassroots movement, just like John Brown, just like Ulysses S. Grant, just like those brave men at Harper's Ferry that said, no more. We will have no more. And with that, I think I've went on too long. I was hoping I'd get a guest in here today. We got 29 people. If you got anything you want to say to me or ask me right now, put that down, and I'll start closing this up unless I get somebody in or you have a question. Ryan. Oh, there's Ryan McGrath. Hi, IPG. Ryan McGrath is IPG. Hello, Ryan McGrath. And I hope everybody enjoyed my little rant. Trav, is your 5 children from one? No. But it's something we rarely talk about. We don't ask those kind of questions around here. I'll just tell you what I have, and it's none of her business. My ex's business. It's none of nobody's business. But that's what the stats are on that right now. Yeah, I could have a couple more, but I just don't want to do that. And Trav, yeah, I got the picture right up there of my kids, and yeah, if I was such a TFLer, no, it's ageism what she's doing. Ageism in America is maybe they don't know that in England. Ageism in America is the same as racism. It's a deplorable act of stupidity when they do that. But we see that all over. We see racism online. We see ageism online. We see you can look at me now at 50 some years old and say, no, I'm not the man I used to be. But if I show you a picture of me when I was 27, you would go, oh man, that's a strapping, handsome young man. And there's no TFL in that. Yeah. What a bunch of idiots. Yeah, of course you get old. That's why the hitting the wall thing. Of course, life is linear. People get older. It's going to happen to everybody. And if you don't think it's going to happen to you, the only way it's not going to happen to you if you die at 30. And for these people that do that and use that, oh yeah, males hit the wall too, and females hit the wall, and you just start getting uglier as you get older, and you carry a little weight. And that's not with you're not going to be that special person that doesn't have that happen to them. I think everybody thinks they're going to be that special person that's going to stay young their whole lives. Every one of you people are going to have to go through the same thing in life, and that's going to be a horrible death at the end. And while you're on this planet, try to learn something and try to assist with our community that we have to live in and make it a better place to live in. Enjoy it while you got it. I enjoyed the hell out of being a 270-pound strapping young man. I was huge. I had arms this big when I looked like a football player, and the girls loved it. I enjoyed that, but I can also share with you a lot of experience of what happens to a male in a society, and what every person will get to. Remember what John Locke said. Remember the laws that you make. Eventually, you're going to have to live by those laws, and every single one of you will be disabled with age. And I think that's a good place to wrap this thing up with. Remember that every single one of you will be needing that. And I think for the more right-leaning people that complain about social, every single one of you will need that. Every single one, because that magic spiraling staircase up to the upper room where the rich are going to let you in, that's not real. That's not real, and you will rely on that like every 67, 70-year-old person now relies on that. But hey, life's linear, and you'll get to experience that. And hopefully from my designated position in the afterlife, I'll get to sit and laugh on the Mgtow bench at the face as soon as these people realize how stupid they've been all their lives. Yeah. I usually ran 270 in my life. 20-inch arms, 270. I had a pretty, but I look thin for 270. I don't know why. Some people look thin when they're like that. I look thin, and I was a very healthy man. I think I'm a very healthy older man now. I ride my bike twice a day. Just got back from a bike ride before I started this. That's why I have the kufi on. And you know, I still work out daily, and I ride my bike daily, and I'm active, and I walk a lot. And you know, hey, I just got old. That was it, and it's going to happen to everybody. And I hope you can appreciate that, and I hope you can. I hope you make. I hope most people make. You know, preparations for that. And these young kids that are so cocky now. I used to be that cocky young man too. I know how that is. I'm never going to get old. I'm going to be young forever. No, you are, and it comes fast. uh, I feel sorry for the millennials nowadays, because most of them are just incels and effeminated, and they will never know what it's like to have a true male body form. And you know, they're just effeminated. You know, barely over. Most of them are barely over 140 pounds. It's like, God, I'm only 20. Aaron Ruby, you're only 26. Yeah, sorry about that. I feel sorry for you guys, because you have to live in this age of effemination, and you never truly know what it's like. Most of them will never truly know what it's like. They're adding estrogen to your water. They're adding estrogen to your plastics and your water. You know, I always thought that was the most horrible thing that you could actually do. Imagine the reverse end of that. We see warnings all the time about male testosterone projects. Imagine if you were just running around, you get a big dab of testosterone, you're rubbing it on your face, you rub it all over, you grab the doorknob, rub it all over your walls, and put some in the drinking water, and then hand it out to your neighbors. I mean, there's big questions. No, your neighbor will grow a beard. Your neighbor lady, and I seen a lady with a beard the other day. It was so horrible. But yeah, that's over testosterone. They regulate those products. They don't want kids or children or pregnant females or anything, and they're harshly regulated. But you get estrogen in everything. You got estrogen in your water. You get estrogen in your plastics, female products. The female body is an estrogen machine, and then they estrogenate these boys. And they don't think that's wrong. That's that's gynocentrism. It's hate to the male. It's hate to testosterone. When you hate testosterone, you hate males. And we hear a lot of talk about, oh, these men are aggressive and they're brutish, and we hate testosterone, and we hear the jokes about testosterone, and it's well regulated by all them complaints and everything. But have they regulated estrogen? No. Is, well, look at the byproduct of it. 40% of millennials have no idea who they are. They have gender identity crises, and you know, you wonder where that's coming from. You guys are so stupid if you're wondering where that's coming from. But you know, in 45% of millennials now are socialists. There was a new study that came out, and they asked all the high school students and millennials and about what their social policies were. They're socialist, and that's what I was talking about. The backlash of the backlash of predatory capitalism will be socialism, and I will sit back and laugh, because these people, these predatory capitalists, didn't know that. And when them Stalinistic armies come marching through again and it won't be Stalin this time, it'll be some other person or some other group, a new group, and they start executing the Burgess. Hey, you were told. Marx told you exactly what was going to happen. You know, dumbasses. You know, that's why the bar of freedom floats between capitalism and socialism, so we can take care of our poor, and we can take care of the, you know, look at the Statue of Liberty and read that someday, what it says on there. And that's the country you used to be. But with that, I'm just going to go on about stupid stuff for a long time if you guys don't shut me off. And And I have harsh opinions on a lot of things. Stupidity, I have harsh opinions on hypocrisy and stupidity, just like Marx did. Hypocrisy and stupidity bother me. And the Burgess, yeah, the Burgess. French, if it's French, it's Burgess. If it's Russian, and if you're speaking that of Russian, of like Stalin, you have to say it like it's Burgess. That's how this Russian would say it. Now bourgeoisie would be French if you're speaking about Dershwin. If you would say bourgeoisie to or bourgeoisie, and but you don't have to say it bourgeoisie. If you're talking like an American speaking about a Russian, it's pronounced Burgess by the Russian language. I had to explain that to someone. Keep going, Trav. I'm not an incel. I'm not incel. I'm voice. I'm voice. What is voice? Keep on going. I can keep on going forever. I have opinions about everything, and they may not be the same opinions of what we're told we have. You know, they tell us in Mgtow you have to be alt-right to be a Mgtow. Bullshit. You can be anything you want politically. 45% of the people around here are probably Democrats, and they're afraid to say they're Democrats because and they're afraid to say they're working class because that would be insultive to themselves. No, if you're, it's just ridiculous. No, you don't have to be a Republican to be a Mgtow. And there's this big delusion out there because of the alt-right and the Milo push that you have to be. That's such bullshit. And they're like, oh, no, if you're not a Republican, you're not a Mgtow. She's like, and then the hypocrisy behind that is Mgtow in itself is a progressive movement. You idiots. You are idiots. Mgtow in itself is a very progressive movement. It's like, wow. Do we just exemplify just milk apple in absurdity in Mgtow? I mean, some of the times I think that we exemplify absurdity. It's like, is that what we're pushing for? Total absurdity, so no one understands anything about what this is? Emily, aren't you going to have any kids? You don't want any kids? And yeah. Kids are great for females. I mean, you don't have the same problems. You're the payee or the payor. Yeah, you're the payee. We're the payor. Having kids as a woman, you're single baby mamas. They get everything. You can make $35,000 a year just being a single baby mama. I mean, I have kids. Good. You should have kids. I believe that. Vote with your interest. And we complain about single baby mamas all the time around here, but being a single baby mama pays. I mean, until we make it where, we have this job equality and everything, and there's a lot of things to talk about there, and some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't make sense. But I'm never going to complain about that, and I don't give a shit about feminism. I don't give a shit at all about it. It's not something that affects me as a Mgtow. It can't come visit my house except in the form of taxes, and that's what I'll complain about. But yeah, go girls, go do that. Blow up that system. I mean, yeah, you know what they say? I blew up my phone. There's 100 messages on there. Go blow that system up too, like you blow up my phone. But I ain't answering, and that's where Mgtow is. We ain't answering no more. But as for that goes, go do it. Go girls. Take advantage of that thing while it's still here. I'm sorry to hear that. Shudders. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that your husband. I didn't know that about you, Janet. Your husband died in 2009. I didn't know that. Trim laugh, huh? So I hope you all had fun with this podcast. I did. I like spouting out. Who is that guy that says I'm gonna spout out? That was just It's just funny when you say that. So I'm spouting off about Mgtow. But we should have the right in this country about, you should have the right to spout off about something. What we're feeling is outrage for a corrupt system. And we're feeling outrage. You're allowed to feel outrage. I suggest reading some Dr. Peter Sandman, PhD. He's the outrage consultant for every White House since 1984, how to deal with outrages of most of his policies. And there's things, Mgtow is a program of outrage, not rage. You should be outraged. Every person should be outraged about how we run our society nowadays, how we run the Health and Human Service. We should be outraged about how we run. We have different opinions on that, politically, which doesn't matter, because what you want to really look at is how things are, not how you think they should be. Political arguments are how you think things should be. How things really are very much different than how you think things should be. When we're having these political arguments here, I find them ridiculous, because you can only get affected at the voting booth, if that affects it at all. And what you're talking about is how you think things should be. And we all have different opinions on it. We're allowed to have different opinions. Only when censorship comes in and they start censoring Joe for his opinions, and they start censoring even Alex Jones, when they start censoring people, that's when you no longer have an opinion about how things should be. And you could take care of that at the voting booth, but that's what I call prior restraint. But no more people nobody looks into that. That's when the government's telling and sorting and gerrymandering voters. We don't want these people voting because they're black and they might vote for the black interest. We don't want these dumb hillbillies and farmers voting because they might have an interest in farming. And we don't want these Irish people voting. That's what they're doing now. We don't want the working class voting. We're going to take all the working class off the voter rolls, and that's what they did in Ohio. They purged the voter rolls of the working class. Of course, of course, Trump won then. But then there are the things we should be arguing about. Them are the things we should be. Hey, man, you can't do that. And then he even made double down on that. The Supreme Court in Ohio said, no, we see that as wrong. They said that was wrong, but we can't change them till after the midterms. You idiots. No, you change them right now before the midterms. And you get these people back on the voters' rolls. But no, they don't want the working class voting in their interest. They don't want steel workers saying, hey, we're unhappy. They don't want Ford workers saying, hey, we're unhappy. They don't want Moan workers or Ridge tool workers or any kind of worker saying he's unhappy, because that describes the apple cart. That's regress all the way back to the Barnes Wars in West Virginia. Baines Barnes, great song, Brave New Awakening by Terry Reid was written about the Barnes Wars. And they took their land, they took their property, they took their jobs, they made them into utilities, and then they killed them, and then now they're mountaintop mining their land. No, they don't want the working class to speak up. No, they don't want the employees to have rights, hence right to work laws, which aren't right to work laws, they're right not to work. But most people are too stupid to look into it. And I do get passionate about that. I would like to just simply make my channel into a political channel and do what all the rest of I'll do that. I'll make one channel just for political things and my political beliefs, just like the alt-right did to Mgtow. But they'll go nuts. They'll go nuts. Oh, you can't talk politics. Yeah, but for the last 4 years, you guys have been spouting off about politics in our Mgtow. We're saying, hey, don't talk politics in Mgtow. Morons. So how you doing there, Trim? I should just make Trim the moderator. How you doing today, Trim? You enjoying your Sunday? I'm listening to the football game while I'm doing this too. So I'm multitasking. I was multitasking earlier. I'm listening to the football game. I was reading something while I was talking, and I was talking to MA. So I was doing 4 things at once. I'm a human multitasker, but men can't multitask. Yeah, right. Grumpy old fart, but funny. Good. You're doing good today? Good. I hope you're all doing well. We should take a survey. How many MGTOWs are doing well? And that was supposed to be, I was supposed to work that into this. And I look around and I see young men like staying free MGTOW, and I see young men like Shingles that came up through the MGTOW system and are doing good and their life's okay. And they're not worried about someone coming into their bedroom and recording them, and they're not worried about people taking things from them. And especially Shingles. Shingles makes me so proud. I want to be his dad. Just because I know he's going to do so well in life because he's got a good attitude. And yeah, we look at these young men like Trim and Shingles and Nino and MA and these younger guys that are living the dream now because they found Mgtow, and that's what this is about. That's all the reason I go on, because we find these young men and we look at their where they were, what they were experiencing, and then they put the Mgtow. And I'm a total product of Mgtow myself. I was down on my luck. I was in the dumps until I instituted Mgtow into my life. I had nothing left. They had taken everything. They had taken millions. And then I said, no more. I'm going to do Mgtow. And I'm very outspoken about it. If you do Mgtow 5 years from now, if you do Mgtow monk correctly, and that's what I want to talk about a little bit today too, the exception of the Mgtow monk and the how people perceive it, and then it's just like it's horrible. You know what Mgtow monk is? You simply don't let people ask you about your personal business. That's none of your business. I'm asexual. As far as you're concerned, as far as every person in this world is concerned, I'm asexual. Don't ask me about that. Don't ask me about that. And I don't want to hear nothing about incel, and I don't want to hear nothing about your desires, because there's much more important things to focus on. It's about becoming a Mgtow. It's about becoming a Mgtow monk. It's none of nobody's business. Like I said, my wife gave me the best lesson in my life. I was a simp. I was a beggar. I was a blue pill guy. And she got a boyfriend and she ran off. And I said, hey man, that ain't right. You're not allowed to do that. And she said, you know something? That's none of your business what I do with my body. And I thought at that moment, it was shocking. It was horrible. It was horrible and it was shocking. And I was like, what? You know, Jesus told me that you're not allowed to do that. That's where I was. I was like, Jesus told me this. You're not allowed to do that. And she said, I am allowed to do that. It's mine. Everything right here is mine, and I'll do what I want. And then I thought for about 10 minutes about that. And then I cheered up because I thought, well, if this be true for me too. And I'll do what I want. And that's where the Mgtow was born. I'll do what I want. And it's none of your business. It's nobody's business what I do. And if you ask me about those things, I will simply tell you I'm asexual. Because it's none of your business what I'm doing in my bedroom. It's none of your business what I'm doing on my couch. And I don't want to hear that you're doing dollies. I don't want to hear none of that talk. I don't want to hear what you're doing with your girlfriend. I don't want to hear what your girlfriend thinks. Because it's none of my business. And that's what I was told by the divorce court system too. It's none of your business what anybody does. And I thought, well, if that be true, then this be true too. And Mgtow was born. It's nobody's business what you do. It's not the government's business, and that goes a long way once you start thinking it's not the court's business, it's not a judge's business, it's not this government's business, and get out of our bedrooms. It's not the church's business, it's my business. And I'll do it the way I want to do it because I'm Mgtow. And once the whole world starts understanding that, and men stop simping, and men stop simping and thinking that wrong way, and every man takes on an independent spirit to himself, and says it's none of nobody's business what I'm doing. And that includes my money, my sexuality, who I'm dating, what I'm doing. As far as you're concerned, I'm a broke ass poor Irishman that's asexual. And it pleases me that you think that. Because it's none of your business how many dollar bills I got in my back pocket, and it's none of your business what I do after I leave this. And that's my attitude, and that's being 100% monk. 100%. That's when you realize that is none of the world's business, and that's how they're going to get you. That's how they're going to get you. You start believing it is their business. Yeah, I fell for that one. I thought it was my business what she did. I thought there was such a thing as monogamy. I thought that Jesus was guiding my life. I believed all that garbage, that traditionalism. And they were like, yeah, you keep believing that, sucker, because we're going to take everything. And they did. So I'm a walking example of the horror of that system. And when I look around here and I see the boys and I see the young men, I call them boys because they're half my age. And I see these young men, these strong, handsome young men, men above reproach, doing well, man, makes my heart go, wow, we are doing good here. And there ain't nothing wrong with Mgtow. We ain't hurting nobody. Matter of fact, we're saving a bunch of men that would have been simping out, going, wow, I didn't know it was none of my business. And Harvey Weinstein thought that was his business, and that's why he's in his trouble. Be a man above reproach. It's none of your business, and that's what I would tell anybody. Get out of our bedrooms. Get out of our wallets. What does the Black Panther say back there? And get your filthy hands out of my back pocket. Get your filthy hands out of my back pocket. I love Malcolm X. Get your filthy hands out of my back pocket. And that's what being Mgtow is about. I should probably end this right about now. I'm going to go out into the yard. And no, I'm not going to take a bath for you, whoever that guy was. He wanted me to take a bath for him. I'm going to go work in the yard. I'm going to ride the bike around the neighborhood. I'm going to say hello to my neighborhoods and be personal and say, hey, how you doing? How you doing, world? Do what I do. It's my choice. And it's nobody's business whether I do that or not. And with that, I want to thank each and every person that came around today, each and every person that listens, each and every person that comes to Sunday church for the gospel. Go your own way. It don't matter who you are. You can learn something here. Be yourself. It's nobody's business what you do. And do it hard. Do it strong. I don't care if it's a man or a woman anymore. You do you and do Mgtow. And thanks for coming around, and thanks for being a Mgtow. Mgtow. Thanks a lot, guys. And I hope you're having a great day. Because I'm going to. And I don't care. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot, ladies. Thanks a lot, everybody. You have a great day. Thanks a lot, Chewy and Al, Alone Capone. Love you. Thanks a lot for everybody that comes around. But most of all, thanks for supporting this system, because this is a system of freedom. It's a system of, being able to speak your truth. It's a system of having a voice. And if we let them take that from us, everything is lost. Everything is lost then. Do your Mgtow and do it hard. And thanks a lot for coming around. And most of all, thanks a lot for being Mgtow. Mgtow.